We were just having a heated discussion about Russell Wilson and how I feel he hasn't gotten enough scrutiny for his gameplay the last few years. And he's, complained and asked for more help, wanted more input into the organization, and they listen to him.
Hold on. You sound like a traditional media person.
No, I'm just being honest.
Complain. So an athlete said,
I need help.
I need help, and now it's complain. When's the last time they drafted a offensive lineman in the first round? Yeah, they went and got Dwayne a couple years ago, but everybody else that they went and got, these were old school dudes. Even me, they got me in year 13, Auntie.
Well,
you keep giving them these names.
Your routes were slow, bro. You was running some slow routes, bro.
I love AP.
It was the end.
I was done. I was stealing.
Bro was like,
That's what
I
they have
said,
done
yo,
in
bro,
free agency.
come on over here with me.
I get what you're saying. So they drafted a guy.
We had to fight to get a meal. Yeah, wrongfully accused. We had to fight to get appeals. That's why we right to get a deal. He on the team, he gotta eat, despite the skills. Keep it riding for the fam. You gotta light the wheels straight up.
Yes, we are here. I need everyone to participate. Everyone in the room, let's give a round of applause. I Am Athlete tonight. Look, this show is literally the opposite of I Am Athlete Miami. Why? Because I Am Athlete Miami, we talk about 70% being evergreen, the topics where everybody can relate. We talk about mental health, we talk about relationships, we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. And then we spend 30% talking about sports. Sometimes we forget that we are athletes and that we know the game. So I Am Athlete tonight gives us the opportunity to talk sports 70% of the time, and then we'll do some evergreen 30% of the time, but every night. Today, we start with 3 amazing people, and this is what we're gonna do to start it off, right? This is how we gotta intro our show and intro our guest and our host. So I wanna know 3 things about you guys. Introduce yourselves, your name, the sport you played, okay? The college you went to. What was your game like on the field? And what's your broadcasting game like? Who do you mimic your broadcasting game like? So we're gonna start with you, Auntie. Sport, college, who's your game like? Both on the field and in the booth.
Ooh, let's go. So my name is Dr. Chantel Tremitiere. You gotta let them know about the PhD. I played basketball at Auburn University. And my game was like my game. I had a little crossover like AI. AI had a crossover like me though, because he's younger than I am. He came after you? A little bit. And on the football field, I love football. I throw like Vick, right-handed. I just said that just because, they saw that on the TikTok videos. You could just look on TikTok for that. But no,
Didn't you throw a football in the basketball hoop or something like 40, 50 yards out?
That's the easy work.
Is that like
That's
the
easy work. But it wasn't a moving target though. Mike, you got hit moving targets. But yeah, that's what. And in the booth, we gonna find out because I'm just different. If you put, I guess, Charles Barkley and Stephen A. Smith together, that's probably Auntie.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm coming at you.
They
not ready. They not ready for no female like that.
So everybody's like, well, Auntie, like, where's Auntie coming from? Well, first you social media legend, icon, TikTok, Instagram, right? All the trick shots. But when I talked to you, you were like, you know what? I was before my time, right? They wasn't ready. The media wasn't ready back then for that type of personality. But you're here now.
Appreciate it. I'm so glad to be here with you guys.
Quick congrats. Auntie just got engaged.
Oh.
Man, you just gonna put me on blast.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Here we go. A round of applause, everybody.
Y'all not clapping hard enough.
There you go. I see her.
Leger Douzable had the privilege of going to the best school in the nation, UCF, my guy right here. Charge on, 2017 national champs. Yes, I said it, national champs. Played 10 years in the NFL. Who did I mimic my game after? That's a hard question, right? Because the reason why I was able to play 10 years is because I was so versatile. Like, When I was in Rex Ryan's system, I would play outside linebacker, defensive end, 3 technique. So honestly, the only guy, and he actually played while I played, I didn't mimic my game after, but the only guy that was kind of similar to what I did was Michael Bennett. He was a guy that could play defensive end, but also play defensive tackle, not just in the pass rush game, but stick it up there in the run game. In the booth, man, I don't think I really mimic anybody. I'm just myself. I've been broadcasting even while I was playing in the league.
I taught you that. I was the first active athlete to be a full-time broadcaster.
But the crazy thing is, before Brandon even became my teammate with the Jets, I was already doing it, and he can tell you that. I knew dudes was gonna do this. He's the older brother, but I'm like the older brother. I showed him the way.
Dudes, I knew you was gonna do broadcast. I knew it. I knew it.
But the funny thing is, Vick isn't the first teammate that said that, right? People have been saying that my whole career, just because I love the game of football and sports, period. And then, why not make it a career, right? I get to talk about what I love day in and day out, and it's just natural for me. I actually went and got a communications degree at UCF, so this is what I wanted to do, whether I went to the NFL or not. So this is my passion, man. I love it. I love to sit up here with my guys, this locker room field. Even Auntie, she played a long time in the WNBA. Just to be able to kick back and just talk about what we love, and that's sports, man. And I just thank you for this opportunity, man, because this is a blessing.
Right, awesome. Let's go, baby.
Mike Vick, played football, played at Virginia Tech, played with the Falcons, Eagles, Jets. Douzable was my teammate. 1 year removed. I just missed Brandon, and got the chance to finish up with the Steelers. That was a remarkable feat. I see that must be your squad. We'll talk about them later.
We sure will.
But I mimicked my game after Steve Young. A lot of people probably think it was other guys. Donovan McNabb was one of them. One of the guys that I patterned my game after. But it was more so about just my game being my game and just letting loose. And, I knew I was going to have to overcome a lot of obstacles and hurdles, being only 6 feet at quarterback and then being black. So, the journey was like far-fetched. But I knew I had to, I had to make it an amazing story. Right. So, met some great teammates over the years, met some great people in terms of broadcasting. I'm one of one. I just do me. That's the way it's gonna be. So thanks for the platform, former teammate. A guy that I really admire, and Chantel, honored to be sitting here with you right now, for sure.
Awesome. I love it. There we go. I am athlete tonight, excited about it. Brandon Marshall here, played at UCF, national champs.
Let them know.
We have the ring, we have the banner hanging up.
You know what I'm saying? Can't take Recognized in the state of Florida.
Can't take it from us.
You already know.
Brandon Marshall here, UCF, wide receiver, played in the NFL 13 years. I know that wasn't part of the question as far as who we played for in the WNBA or in the NFL. I mimic my game after Barry Sanders. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and football is huge there. It's football country. I grew up playing running back. You were a running back. You played defense. You wanted to hit somebody, and we put out great quarterbacks back in the day. So, and still to this day.
That's interesting that you say that, bro, because you played so powerful, and Barry is more of a shifty guy.
Right. Barry was a running back.
Quick story, though. A lot of people may not even know this.
Ooh,
Brandon's junior year, right? He was our starting safety at UCF. He didn't even play receiver until his senior year. So he played receiver his first 2 years.
Wow.
Had a lot of injuries in the secondary. Probably our 2 best receivers moved to defense, him and Mike Walker.
Mike Sims Walker.
Mike was our starting corner who played a lot of years in the league, went 3rd round. And then Brandon literally had his big year, his senior year, because we forced him to go to safety because we were struggling in the back end. So I don't know if a lot of people knew that. Right. And we know you play physical, and you talked about playing defense. I think some of that had to do with some of that
100%.
You being the physical type receiver to go out there, being able to play safety, that's a big ask for a guy.
And y'all won a national championship?
Not when we was there, but
all right. So you saying 2017?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
We gonna claim that we paved the
all right,
way.
It's early. I'm just now getting up. I'm waking up, baby.
But nah, like that was a big ask for a guy going into his junior year, and you know this. Like your junior year is kind of like when you put your tape out there to let teams know who you are. And then he moved over to receiver and killed it, and the rest is history.
There you go, 13 years. And there's so much more to that story. In the booth, man, Michael Strahan looked up to him. Ellen, Oprah. You have Pat McAfee. He's doing some interesting things. It's a new era for pro athletes or just people, period. Cutting the cord, being able to create your own content, do what you want. So there's so many people I pull from. Brian Gumble, Greg Gumble, James Brown, Phil Simms, Boomer Esiason. I've been on Inside the NFL for 8 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, you started. I mean, you was doing that when you was playing. So
right.
you know, that's the experience.
Yeah, I paved the way for you. Yeah, there you go. So there's so many people I pull from. I have a list of people I watch on a weekly basis, and I take notes. That's us. That's what we're about. This is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to start talking about Urban Myer. We're going to hit a little bit of Big Ben, maybe a little Russell Wilson, talk about the quarterbacks. And we're going to talk a little basketball. LeBron James, Steph Curry in his bag again last night. Broke the record, 10 years. All right, Urban Myers. Little backstory here. All right, this guy's a champion. Wins a lot of games. Yeah, at the college level, right? We know he's feisty. But now you make this jump to the National Football League.
It's a big jump.
So they've been losing this year, you know. Duval, they've been trying to change it, you know, the culture for a few years now. Haven't been able to do it. After a loss this year, a big loss, he stays in Ohio, goes to his bar, his steakhouse or whatnot, getting a lap dance, okay? You know,
Early bye
that
week
blew
for
up
him.
in his face. Yeah, early bye week. I mean,
Early
dudes,
bye
like,
week, yeah.
I mean, what happened to the entire team getting on the plane, getting on the
I've
bus,
never
getting
seen
on the
anything like it
Right,
in my
right.
career.
But now, new reports, fighting the team, poor sportsmanship. After the Titans game, look how he just walked past Coach Vrabel.
Vrabel, yeah.
Right?
Talking mad to his coaches.
I mean, my question for you guys is, if you're the owner, you're Mr. Khan, what do you do?
You take him in the back and talk to him. And you tell him, this ain't college, this the NFL. And I think he learning that the hard way. But, you know, we all know, and you know, as we go through this show, we'll probably make so many, we'll probably talk about so many experiences that we done had and how they relate. You know, it's just not easy, man. You gotta really, it take a couple years for a coach, I think. And Urban's just kind of like going through that process where he's trying to rebuild, trying to find players, find out what it's all about. It's just not an easy feat, bro.
So you think he should keep his job for another year?
I think he should keep his job for one more season. I ain't really with just jettison a guy like after 1 year.
Right. But Mike, you know the crazy thing is Urban's like that boyfriend who doesn't treat his girlfriends right. And then,
really good analogy.
and then when they find out, when they realize he's not treating them right, he leaves, right? He did this back at Ohio State.
The same way.
You know, he did this way back. He did it at Florida.
Florida. He left them in
And
turmoil.
now I'm messing up. I'm not treating you guys right, but then I'm gonna leave for health reasons, only to come back to Ohio
Literally.
State,
To Ohio State.
mess up, and then I'm leaving again.
Oh,
but
you
now
know what?
I'm in the NFL,
Damn.
and you can't treat
Damn.
grown men the way he's treated. If I was Khan, he'd already be fired. I mean, how many chances do you give this man? You know, and he has a track
real.
record.
To me, I 100,000% agree with Auntie. Like, it's barbecue chicken. Like, it's time for him to go. And to me, it's deeper than that, right? Because you stated it, right? You want to change the culture. You draft Trevor Lawrence, who some talent evaluators said was the best #1 pick since Andrew Luck. So that's high praise, right? They said they graded him as high as Andrew Luck, and I think Peyton Manning coming out. Right. There's not too many people like that on planet Earth. So this was a guy that you really want to progress throughout the season as your young future quarterback, set him in the right direction. But it's almost like he's regressed. So to me, for one, you talked about the incident in Ohio after they play a Thursday night game. Like, in what league does a coach not get on the damn plane with his players? Like, I've never seen those like that ever in my life. Like, you're the head coach and you're talking about togetherness, you're talking about leadership and all this other. You supposed to be our leader, and you getting damn lap dances at the damn bar. Like, what type of?
And getting caught doing
that's
it.
conduct detrimental.
So, so there's a bigger
That's
issue
detrimental
here,
to the
right?
team.
There's a bigger issue here, right? Because head coaches' contracts are guaranteed. Can Shad Khan fire him and still have to pay him all that money? Or because of what happened in Ohio, can he use that for conduct detrimental? Because that's a lot of times, and for people that don't know, they'll do that to players in the league, right? They'll hit you with conduct detrimental to void your contract, so your contract's not guaranteed. My thing is, can Shad Khan use that same rule against his coach to maybe sever the ties and get ready? Because I think you're hurting Trevor Lawrence and his development right now because the leadership is just all over the place. And then, to me, it comes down to Shad Khan choosing between the head coach or the future franchise of your team. You took him number 1 overall to lead this team into the future. To me, he has a decision to make. Do you take Urban Myer or do you take Trevor Lawrence?
Okay. Hold on. Now we're getting into another conversation, production, culture, Trevor Lawrence. We got to continue this. All right, so we're going to go to break. We're going to be back. I Am Athlete tonight, and we're going to pick back up where we left off on Urban Myer and then getting into Trevor Lawrence, the culture, and the state of the Jacksonville.
Segue, dudes. Good segue, dudes.
I Am Athlete Parlay is killing it this year.
These are guaranteed wins.
I'm gonna take Arizona over San Fran.
Whoa.
Daniel Jones over Patrick Mahomes at home?
We're going to keep it super organic. This is the I Am Athlete Parlay. What we're doing is we're giving you 3 for sure bets. I know we're probably shooting around 60% on the season, but this week
We're gonna be 100 this week.
We ain't been on here
I said,
yet.
I ain't been on. It's 100. It's going to be 100
We
this
come
week.
on here. We batting 100.
Okay, so who you got? What game you like?
I
You for
hate
sure?
to say this because I'm a Steeler fan since birth, but Kansas City gonna beat Pittsburgh in Kansas City.
That's hard, huh? That's
Yeah,
painful.
that hurts my stomach. I had to stand up a little bit. That
All
hurts
right,
me.
that's the first game. All right, what you got, dudes? Who else you like?
The Chargers at Houston, I think, is an automatic win. Justin Herbert's playing at a high level right now. They got bigger fish to fry. They're trying to get to the playoffs. That should be a sure win against Davis Mills, who's the rookie quarterback for the Houston Texans.
Love it.
All right, I'm going San Francisco over Tennessee.
Ooh,
Tennessee
that's a tough
hasn't
one, though,
been,
Vic.
on the road. They got to travel cross country.
A.J. Brown
but
might be
Tennessee,
Monday Night Football?
Tennessee been up and down. Still got a lot to prove. But I like San Francisco in that running game. I like Kyle Shanahan. We talked about that Shanahan tree. It's amazing.
It's a Saturday night game.
DraftKings Sportsbook, I Am Athlete Parlay. Check it out, 100% this week. Peace. DraftKings.com is the sportsbook. I Am Athlete is the platform. Parlay, I Am Athlete all day. Promo code athlete. Let's get it.
Welcome back to I Am Athlete Tonight. I'm your host, Leger Douzable, with my guy B. Marshall right here. We got Auntie, Michael Vick. We were just having a really good conversation about Urban Myer and Trevor Lawrence. I actually want to propose a question to Michael Vick, and I was talking about the development of Trevor Lawrence and how the culture with Urban Myer is kind of changing that. You picked this guy number 1 overall to be the future of your franchise, and it's like he's regressed the last few weeks. Just talk about how that, the Urban Myer being in there and then the issues that he's had with leadership, and then also talking crazy to the coaches, getting it into it with one of the veteran players, Marvin Jones, who nobody has ever said a bad thing about. So to me, that's a question mark in itself. Just talk about how that can hurt the development of a young quarterback.
See, when I look at a young quarterback and his future, it all stems from the head coach. Like you give him 3 years, with the same head coach, so he can understand a pattern. Like I had Dan Reeves. They fired Dan Reeves after 3 years, but we developed some type of rapport. I understood how he coached. I understood what he looked for out of a quarterback. And as a young quarterback, you looking at your coach as the leader. And he's doing all these things that's flawed. My concern with firing Urban Myer right now, it affects Trevor Lawrence. Now he see this whole big coaching change blow up in 1 year. He didn't get a chance to get his feet wet. Right. So all these things happen. It just hurt the development, and it might be something that he might not be able to come back from, especially with all the other quarterbacks around the league, like balling, whether the guys in his class or the guys that was a year ahead of him. They all doing their thing, so right now he regressing.
I understand what you're saying, around the relationship between quarterback and head coach is so important. When you look at some of the biggest dynasties, or you look at some of the most successful organizations, you have stability at the quarterback position and you have stability at the head coach position, and that relationship is critical. Now, the head coach, he doesn't have to be an offensive-minded guy. He just has to be quarterback friendly, okay? Yeah. But you have to have a relationship. So I get that, Mike, but what I don't see in Jacksonville, you take Trevor Lawrence. He's like a good old boy, right? Like he comes from an amazing, the sunshine. He comes from an amazing family. He has his head on straight. and now you throw him in a culture like this. Now the NFL, professional sports, it's toxic, it's tough, any environment, but some are more healthier than others. Jacksonville, I don't know this culture that he is building down there is healthy for Trevor. So for me, I'm like you, Auntie, I'm cutting the cord. ASAP. I mean, come on, this is who you are. And things change from college to the pros. You can't go in there talking to pro athletes the way you talk to college athletes.
Guys making as much as you, maybe
more.
Yeah.
I think the biggest question is keeping Urban more detrimental to Trevor's development than cutting ties with him now.
That's fair.
Because one thing that Urban has proven to all of us time and time again, right, is his moral compass is not pointed in the right direction. That doesn't change just like that. That's something fundamentally wrong with this man. And is that what hurts his quarterback?
Yeah, and 100. Speaking on that, Auntie, not to cut you off, but like anytime there's rumors or leaks on your team from your locker room about the head coach talking to the assistants that he hired, sitting them down like they little kids, asking them, what have you done, in your pro career that makes you, such a good coach? Like, I've won championships. Yeah, you won championships
on
at
the college level.
Right.
This is a whole
He's a
different
grown
beast.
man.
And we've seen this time after time, right? We saw it with Nick Saban, right, in Miami. We saw it with Bill O'Brien with the Texans when he came from college. Like, to me, I just can't stand that NFL owners continue to hire these college coaches because your mindset has to change. Like you said, these are grown men you're talking to, and probably 40% of the team is making more money than you. So, like, you cannot come in there trying to micromanage everything with grown men because they're going to look at you crazy.
A part of them is right, though. You got to look at some of your coaches. You got to ask, what have you done? But first of all, let's back up.
What is he doing, though?
Because that's on ownership. You hired Urban Meyer. Now, Urban, you're going to ask your staff, what have you done? That's what you asked in the beginning. It's too late for all that now. I'm with you, Auntie, man. Urban might have to go.
Right, thank you. Yeah,
I mean, but I love Urban, though. Urban, my man, like, I got to know him. He worked for Fox, and he's a colleague. So, but still, this is about doing what's right. It's about doing what's right.
He got to go, and I question how he is with his players. But segue, because I think there's one coach out there that has been really, really great with his players. He's been a staple in the organization, and he has a quarterback that instead of his first year, we're probably looking at his last year. We're talking about Big Ben with the Steelers.
Let's go.
Right? We're talking about Big Ben, and this is my point. Everyone asks me, Auntie, do you think he's done? And I think what happens with any player, but especially with quarterback, if you take Vick, right, one of his best abilities was his speed. He can get out of the pocket. He can go. If something happened to Mike and he could no longer run or do what made him great, that doesn't make him not a great quarterback. That just makes him a good quarterback. But can he still be successful? Yeah. Big Ben, yeah, he can still throw the ball. He's still throwing dimes. He's still making great decisions. He will throw any pass, anytime, anywhere. But what made him great is that it was hard to get him down. It was hard to tackle him, and he will move in the pocket in a minute.
Him twice,
he don't have speed like Vick. Like, he's not going to get you 30 yards.
Yeah.
Now he may not even get you 3. But
I hated playing against Big Ben.
right. Do you think he's done, though?
They had
Do you think he's
Elvis
done?
Dumerville. I had some dogs out there going after him, and
Right.
I'm talking about he shed 3-4, defensive linemen and then throw the ball down the field. Man, that was ridiculous. You say you sacked him twice?
Twice, man. So one of the years was when Vick was my teammate. The year he actually
Oh,
started
yeah,
for
we
us.
beat him that day.
We beat him that day. I had to sack that game.
A proud
I had to
moment,
sack-
for sure.
Oh, that was
proud
at the
moment.
Who you sacked? You said Big Ben?
Big Ben, yeah. So Vick was our quarterback in 2014.
I need
That's the
film.
game he started.
I
We
need
beat
film.
him. Nobody
I need
can
film.
see
I
the-
need
Right,
the
right.
tapes.
You can have film. It's film out there now. Yeah.
Ben had a rough day that day.
Yeah,
They
so
made it
our
rough for Ben
defense
that
was
day.
killing
He'll
him.
tell
The thing
you-
is, like, bro, trying to get him down, like Auntie said, it was hard because this dude was as big as a D lineman. He's a legit like 6'6", and he probably weighed at his heaviest probably 270, 280.
Man, let me
so
tell
you're
you
talking
what,
about
Ben chopped wood on his off day.
That's what I'm saying.
He was
so
my
you're talking
teammate. He
about
chopped wood on
tackling
his
a
off
defensive
day.
tackle or defensive end. And the thing that made him so great, as Auntie said, is that anytime you thought he was down, he wasn't down. He would spin out. He wasn't the fastest fleet of foot guy, but he just knew how to maneuver in the pocket and be able to get receivers open and throw the ball down the field. And
Okay. So the question she had was,
Is he
he
cooked?
done? Because, this is last year or allegedly his last year because they were struggling, and then all of a sudden reports came out. Reports came out, 4 or 5 weeks ago? Yeah. Oh, this Big Ben's his last year. And he's a drama king. He's a drama king. He's standing in the tunnel, I don't know if it was Sal Palantonio's interview. He was like, I think, I'm just focused on the here and now. I don't know what the future holds. You just leaked the information that this is going to be my last year. Right. And then after that game, they went out there, he looked good. The next game, he looked good. And now it's, I don't know. We're going to just focus on the here and now. So is he done, yes or no?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, Ben knows it's over. Yeah. Being ready for it to be over. Like, he played a ton of good years, made a ton of money. He got his family, got kids. It's different priorities now. And, obviously your game ain't the same. Right. The game changed, right. and whether it's defenses and schemes that's caught up with him or he just can't maneuver like he used to, that's just where it's at with him. You got to know when it's time to hang up the cleats.
When did you know it was over for you?
I knew my last year in Pittsburgh. I honestly, I wasn't ready, but I kind of knew. Mentally, I wasn't there. And I went from being a starter to being a backup. That just wasn't my life. It just wasn't me. So that right there took a toll on me mentally, and kind of screwed. Because once you start thinking retirement, even when I was with the Jets and being a backup and behind Geno, I put so much into that training camp that year that, I know I'm getting off script, but you just feel it in your heart like, man, I'm going to enjoy every game, every minute, every second, and then when it's all over, when it's all said and done, I'm going to be happy with my body of work.
Yeah,
Mike, let me ask you a question. I'm sorry, real quick. I know this is off topic. So what does it do to a quarterback psyche when Big Ben had a great line for many, many years, and now all of a sudden he has 2 starting rookies, he has 4, all 5 are brand new. Yeah. What does that do to a quarterback when everyone is new up front and not very good?
2012, we had the offensive line shuffle going on when I was in Philadelphia. I came into every game confident in myself, but not confident in their continuity. Like, I wasn't confident that they believed that we could be a cohesive unit for 4 quarters and go up against Elmer's Domerville and Ray Lewis and all the guys who presented themselves as top pass rushers. So it hurt me in a sense. Like, my game was thrown off because I felt like everybody else wasn't, as confident as they were supposed to be, or as far as their abilities couldn't match up to who was in front of them, the opposition. And that right there in itself, that's a loss when you walk into the stadium and like, man, you second guessing everything. Yeah. It's just not good.
Well, that can lead to the Russell Wilson conversation, right? Because of his situation right now is, I need more help. For years, Pete Carroll built his team, a championship team, around defense and running the football and letting Russ cook when the game was on the line in the fourth quarter. You blow up the Legion of Boom a couple years ago. So the Michael Bennett that you talked about to open the show.
And that's, a lot of people didn't talk about that, right? The pass rushers they had on that team.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, you talk about Cliff Averill, you talk about Michael Bennett.
Big Red.
Big Red Bryant was a really good player for them. So, that was a part of it, right? So when you pay your quarterback, and Mike and Brandon know this, a lot of times when you pay your quarterback, you can't pay a lot of other people. Right. But that's why they pay the quarterback that much more money, because hopefully he can uplift you for losing some of those pieces, right? So talking about Russell Wilson, and this is a topic to me that hasn't been talked about enough in sports media.
Can I finish though?
Okay, go ahead.
All right, because like you ready to go crush my man. And say,
I'm not finna
I feel like you want to get something off your chest.
I wanted to hear this.
Yeah, I want to hear it too. But the transition got to be smooth so we can jump into the conversation, because now, where's the offensive line, the chemistry and continuity that Mike Vick talked about, right? Okay. What about the running game, right? Do you have a running game that marries the passing game? Do you have an offensive coordinator? So now, I give it back to you.
I appreciate that.
Because I feel
let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Does he have what he needs?
So, when he was there, they traded for Brown from the Houston Texans, Dwayne Brown. They also brought in the guard from the Oakland Raiders that's really good this year to help solidify the offensive line. And supposedly that quelled any issue that Russell Wilson had with the offensive line. But if you just look at Russell Wilson's stats from the last 8 weeks of the season, in the beginning of this season before he got hurt and since he's been back, they haven't been good. Like, just to keep it honest, right? In the beginning of the last year, everybody was talking about let Russ cook. He was the front runner for the MVP. The offense was cooking. But what me and you kind of talked about off camera, and I'll talk about it right here, the thing about Russell Wilson, he is a really good quarterback. But
Great
listen,
quarterback.
He's not a timing-based quarterback, and Mike can speak to this, right? So Russ likes to throw a lot of off-platform throws. He's not a timing-based West Coast quarterback where the ball comes out of his hand right when he hits his back foot.
Goodness.
So,
Auntie.
all script.
This man.
Listen to me.
We got to go to break.
me.
We got to go to break. We're going to come back. We're going to finish this discussion.
All right.
Auntie, we're talking about the winningest quarterback through 10 years. Super Bowl champion.
Talk about it.
What else do you
Talk
want
about
from
it.
him? Let's talk about it. I am
talk
athlete
about it.
tonight. We'll finish this conversation when we come back. I appreciate you guys coming in, doing this, launching this new show. I don't have a lot of money, so I can't give you guys anything
Allegedly.
elaborate or
they say.
like Louis Vuitton this, Louis Vuitton that. But you're in a new relationship. You got to make sure everything is just like, not a new relationship, excuse me. You're engaged
Hey,
now.
hey.
Now the expectations are different.
Let's go.
Okay, so I don't know how you trim what you doing down there, Auntie.
Oh my
but you gotta keep it
God.
tight. All right.
Bruh.
Yeah, you
I
can
knew
use
where you was
Manscaped
going,
too.
man.
Mike, you know what time it is.
I mean,
You from
you
Virginia.
give it, I'm gonna take it,
All right,
and
so
I'm gonna use it.
I'm gonna take free 99.
Take it.
I'm
I'ma
gifting
take it.
Manscaped, the 4.0, all right, to my guest, Leger, Auntie Chantel, and also Mike Vick. All right, your balls will thank you later. All right, Auntie, you can use this too. Okay?
I'm gonna use it on
different.
my edges.
So
Yeah,
Merry
I'ma-
Christmas to you
I'm gonna
guys.
use mine on my face.
Okay, keep
Here,
the
go ahead,
beard
you can use it
clean.
now if you want to.
Nah, I ain't gonna mess nothing up, but
Yeah,
I
he
like
don't have no
this. This is
mirror. Alright.
like really sophisticated,
You
man.
got the
Here you
little
go.
light too.
The
Manscaped,
light.
use promo code ATHLETE. Go shave your balls. They'll thank you later. Peace. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Welcome back to I Am Athlete Tonight. I'm Leger Douzable here with Brandon Marshall, Michael Vick, and Auntie Chantel. We were just having a heated discussion about Russell Wilson and how I feel he hasn't gotten enough scrutiny for his gameplay the last few years. And he's, complained and asked for more help, wanted more input into the organization, and they listen to him.
Hold on. You
Whoa.
sound like a traditional media person.
No, I'm just
you
being
said
honest.
complain. So an athlete
Tripping,
said,
all
I
right, is
need
that
help.
better?
I need help,
A
and now it's
quarterback says
complaining.
it.
But dude
Right?
just said
You
it,
hear the
man. You
language?
can't give us so much help when you absorbing all the money
Thank
on
you.
the salary cap. It's just
You
not
making
gonna be.
$35 million.
But I went through that. I went through that in Atlanta when I got the big deal, $100 million deal.
Right.
Every year I had to come back and restructure something. You got to be willing to do that in order to bring a couple guys in, key guys here and there, because other than that, it's like they're going to hold you accountable to lift the team up whenever necessary.
This is my question. What is he missing?
Never necessary.
What is he missing on offense?
All right, so let's back up.
Yeah.
Okay? Philosophy. You have Pete Carroll. Love him as a head coach, love him as a leader. People should study his leadership style. Okay? Pete Carroll's old school. Play defense, they do the same thing. Cover 3, that Seattle 3. You know it.
Yeah.
And then on offense, we're going to run the ball. First down, second down, third down. That's simple football. You
What was
blow
his
up-
record
you
doing
blow,
that, though?
You blow. They went to 2 Super Bowls.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But now we know this. We go third and short, third and 3. Third and short is 3rd and 1 to 3 to 4. Okay. And if you go 3 by 1, Mike, and you put me at the 3, and if I run that deep diagonal, I know I'm gonna be lined up against Bobby Wagner or KJ Wright
Yeah,
back
you're
in the
gonna have an
day,
inside
and now
backer.
I got speed on the big. Yeah. So I say that, and I always give that example because everyone knows their book, right? So now I'm going into the game knowing how to beat their defense. So on the offensive side, if you stop the run game, and defensively, it's not what it used to be. It used to be hard,
They play good enough to
hard
win
back
this
in the
year,
day to
though.
beat the Seattle
Yeah.
Seahawks and get anything on them. But that's different now. So it starts there with philosophy. He has to change his ways, and that's what the whole debate and the conversation between them this offseason was. So now you go to the offensive side. offensive coordinator. Do you have a competent offensive coordinator that can beat some of these sophisticated, complex
He
defenses
came from
today?
the Rams.
Then from there, you talked about offensive line. Yeah, you know, when's the last time they drafted a offensive lineman in the first round? Yeah, they went and got Dwayne a couple years ago, but everybody else that they went and got, these were old school dudes. Even me, they got me in year 13, Auntie.
Well,
like
they
you
drafted him.
you keep giving them these names.
Your
Look,
routes
they
was
just got
slow,
Adrian
bro.
Peterson.
You was running
I love
slow
Adrian
routes,
Peterson.
bro.
I love AP.
They said you was slow in year 13.
I was done.
B.
I was stealing. I was
Bro was
stealing.
like-
Stealing the
I was
paycheck?
stealing. I was stealing. But think about this. That's what they have done in
bro,
free agency.
come on over here with me.
But I get what you're saying. So they drafted a guy in the first round and just didn't pan off. They
come
drafted
on over here
a
with
first
me.
round offensive lineman that didn't pan out, right? So he left and went to Chicago. But if you look at their skill position players, right, they drafted Tyler Lockett. He's still on the team. DK Metcalf, who's one of the best receivers. If
Second
they get
round,
him,
second round.
if they
Good
get
job.
him the football, right? They drafted Rashard Penny in the first round, but he's been banged up at running back. This is my thing with Russell Wilson, right? And I said it since the last 8 weeks of the season, in the beginning of this season, and since he's come back from the injury, which I felt like he came back way too fast, like the offense just hasn't flowed, right? And it's because they've been trying to let him cook too much. Like the Seattle Seahawks have always been better when they've been balanced on offense, and they got 2 wins in a row because they were able to run the football the last 2 weeks. Like they beat the Houston Texans running the football. They beat the 49ers running the football.
Can I say one thing?
I'm not
One
saying
thing.
that's
I'm
the
gonna say
only
two
solution.
words. Dan Quinn, he left. When Dan Quinn left, this team just hasn't been the same.
But the
offense
defense
and the
actually hasn't
defense
played
just
terrible
ain't been
this
the
year.
same.
But you just said
They lost
let-
Bobby
you said
Wagner. I
they
mean, they got Bobby.
They letting Russell cook. They letting him cook. That's offensive philosophy.
But so,
like, they
so,
can't-
so you're right. So when Pete Carroll comes out and say we need to run the ball more, he looks like the villain. But because the other way hasn't worked, when you dropping back Russell Wilson that many times
Because you're
a
not
day-
built that way. That's the problem. Built it that way and then let them cook, see what happens.
Well, obviously it's worked the last 2 weeks.
Remember last year, because you went back last year,
Yeah.
the first 6-7 weeks of the season.
It was like
he
the first 8.
MVP.
He was the MVP.
He
yeah.
was the MVP, and then he had a couple games where he threw some picks, right?
A couple games.
It was 3 games. It was 3 games.
Well, the
That's
last
on
8
him.
were bad.
But are
They
you
were
going to bet
bad.
against Russell Wilson? But I do. So you got that. Yeah. All right? Because we can talk about this for hours and we don't have enough time. But I do want to talk about these last 2 weeks. You said they've been running the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. Did Tyler Lockett?
Thank
So
you.
what happens is this though. What does you talked about? What makes this guy great? You talked about now you can go to good. Great for Russell Wilson is when you are running the ball. Now he gonna
doubt.
air you out.
Okay.
And with the
just
Tyler
proved my
Lockett. Tyler
point.
Lockett went for 140.
You know what he did though? Play action pass on the moon balls. That's what Russell Wilson. That's when he's the best. So when you run the ball and you're able to use play action pass, you get Tyler Lockett behind the defense. I know that's elementary, but that's how they've always won. Like he's not a timing-based quarterback. There's been times when DK Metcalf is wide open and he refuses to throw him the ball on time. But he's good with Tyler Lockett because he knows how to throw that ball, the trajectory of it, and like just drop it right in Tyler Lockett's hands. And that's what he did last
And
week.
to his credit, he is in a new offense this year, which takes
I'll
about
give you that.
2 years to really, a full year to master, like in game, seeing blitzes, seeing different looks. So
But
to
that had
his
nothing to do with
credit,
them last 8 games last year. Though.
you're right about that.
I give Russell Wilson another year before I gave Urban Meyer another year. The end. Period.
Well,
That makes sense, Chantel.
but
That
honestly,
makes sense.
I think this is a marriage that's going to go to a divorce. Like one of them is going to go. Pete
Come to the
Carroll
Steelers?
or Russell Wilson. One of them is leaving this year.
It will be a peaceful one, though, because they love each other. They have respect for each other. So let me ask you this. Who's your team? Your NFL team?
You know who my NFL team is?
Jets?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
They got a
So
team.
hold on. Watch
No
this now.
doubt.
Watch this.
Disrespect.
Yeah,
always show our squad,
Come
The
on.
Jets got a team.
That's my team,
Disrespect is
too.
real.
I got four
That's
teams.
new.
Right.
The Jets got a team.
Disrespect is real.
All right, that's good.
I'm messing with
All right,
you.
no. All
No,
right.
I'm not.
Okay, that's the Jets. So would you take Russell Wilson?
No, and you know why?
Oh, my
No, but listen to me. You know why? Because the
I'm
offensive
off this
coordinator.
show. I'm done.
It's from the Shanahan
This show ain't
tree.
even gonna
Just listen
last.
to me.
I can't do it.
Listen to me. Mike LaFleur is from the Shanahan system, right? That's a timing-based offense. You have to get the ball, and Mike knows this. You have to get the ball off when
Okay, I
that
just
back
thought
foot
about
hits.
Aaron Rodgers.
The problem is we
just thought about
have
Aaron
a Russell
Rodgers.
Wilson right now, and Zach Wilson. That's his issue. He likes to throw off platform. He's not throwing the ball on time, and that's why the Jets are struggling right now.
Brother, first off, I grew up in that Shanahan offense.
Okay.
drafted in
That Shanahan
2006 to
offense
the
was
Dim-
mean.
That's what I'm saying.
Monstrous.
Love it.
And
So
how
it
pissed
fits him
off would you have
perfectly.
been if you was DK and you was white? And we know you early,
No,
Brandon,
I was
too.
there. I played with Russ. That's the type of quarterback I want to play with. I want to play with a quarterback that can make something happen. You listen, he is
That's not
not
viable offense,
What did you
bro.
say? You
Ask
said
your
earlier in
question.
the show, you said I'm one of one. That man is one of one.
I give you
okay,
that.
so
I'm
his
gonna ask you a
game is
question.
different. You can't put him in a say, oh, he's gonna be Peyton Manning, he's gonna be Drew Brees. That's not
I'm
who
not
he
trying
is.
to have him be
This is
either
the-
one of those.
This is the end of this is what ends the debate for me. He's the winningest quarterback through the first 10 years.
That's real.
But people
Can I
forget
ask a
those
question?
first 5 or 6 seasons, the offense wasn't based off of him.
It
Am
was,
I
it was
lying?
the Legion of Boom.
No.
And
You know
the
how
run
many-
game.
you know
Legion
how many-
of Boom in the run game, Marshawn Lynch.
He's the
Wins
most
a lot.
clutch quarterback also. So if you go through those first 5, 6,
He's been clutch too.
He has been 100%.
I mean,
but that's why I said
he's a
they're
Hall of
better.
Famer.
They're better, and we're gonna cut this off and go to another topic. But he's been better when they've been able to run the ball, and then at the end of the game, when you need a play from Russell Wilson, let him do that. But don't start off the game having this guy throw 40, 50 times a game. They don't play well when they do that. And is that a lie?
Oh my goodness, dude.
I'm
Is
paying
that
you
allowed?
$35 million to throw the football. You
I,
better
mean,
throw the football.
I like the complementary game, the run game, the defense,
Yeah.
complement, play action. Like that's how he was cooking.
I am athlete tonight. We're introducing Leger Douzable, Michael Vick, Brandon Marshall, and Auntie Chantel. So we go from one player to me who hasn't gotten enough scrutiny to a player that's gotten a lot of scrutiny, and LeBron James.
Boy,
We're gonna start with Auntie in this
Come on.
topic real quick.
Set it off.
my
Set it
guy.
off. Set it off.
How much longer can he continue to play at this high level? Because if you look at it as a whole, right, Father Time is undefeated. We all know this. 2 out of the last 3 years, he's been hurt and missed significant time. The year before the bubble, missed a lot of games. Won the championship in the bubble. This year has already missed a significant amount of games. How much longer can he keep this up?
Look, that man 36 years old. Yeah. And for what he's doing, at the level that he's doing it, for the amount of time that he's doing it, arguably, the GOAT. Now, we'll say this. Wait a minute. I said, arguably. Look, I love this, and I love y'all talking about football, but basketball is something I kind of know a little something about. So we're going to go ahead and do this. This is my thing. Michael Jordan, I believe, is the best player ever. Kobe Bryant, I believe, is the best scorer ever. LeBron James, I believe, is the most dominant player from 1 to 5. He's the only player that can play 1 to 5. Jordan could never play 1 to 5. Kobe could never play 1 through 5.
So you put him in front of Magic in that category?
Yes,
too?
Magic couldn't play 1 through 5.
But
I'm
Magic
talking about
did.
and dominate the way
okay.
LeBron James is doing. And then, I know we'll talk about it later, and then Steph Curry will be the best,
Yeah,
the
that's
greatest
not even up for
shooter of
debate.
all time.
It's not even up
But
for debate.
Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, I do not think, for how great they were, I do not think could be as dominant at this age for how long they've been doing it as LeBron James, period. And argue with me if please let me know, but they don't dominate the way they do, the way he is doing now
this age.
in his 17th year.
Right.
Like,
And of course, the father of time is gonna always catch up with any athlete. And,
Right.
and basketball is not like football. I mean, people look at football and like it's the most grueling sport, but basketball, it's that conditioning
Hey,
up.
no,
and
no,
And
no,
down.
that hardwood
It's
on them knees,
not
man.
hardwood
Father
on the
Time may be
knees and-
undefeated, but
like
he taking
LeBron's-
his time with LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron.
He taking his time.
Yeah.
He chilling.
Yeah.
So you can see LeBron playing for like another 3 or 4 years.
I think LeBron's gonna play until Bronny gets in the league. I think he's
That's
gonna
what
play
everybody's
until.
been saying, but what LeBron will be getting at that point is the question.
So you look at athletes, and I compare athletes to entertainers. So Jay-Z, let's take Jay-Z. Jay-Z's longevity is what it is because he's been able to evolve. You have to find a way, right? You can't do the same thing like you talk about. Okay, this is what made me great. This is what got me here. Now what's going to keep me here? And then you got to always pivot. You always got to pay attention. Same thing in football, right? Sometimes you got a cornerback like Charles Woodson. He's great, Hall of Fame cornerback. But also, when he gets older, let's shift him to safety.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, how do you evolve as an athlete, okay? This guy, he should be now elevating to Magic, which we saw in the bubble, 2020, right?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
happened?
100%.
We saw that, but who emerged was AD.
AD,
So, to
100%,
me, the tragedy is AD not continuing to do what he did in the bubble, because if he did what he did in the bubble, now LeBron James can play less. Now LeBron James can sit out there and
Yes,
say,
I agree.
you are the #1 and I'm going to lead the
But that's
team.
what it's supposed
That
to.
is
That's
the
what it's
problem.
supposed to be now. But with Russell And AD, LeBron's supposed to be able to sit back and be like Jordan. Remember Jordan mastered the fadeaway, late 35 through 38, the 3 championships. He was killing them with the jumper. That's what LeBron's supposed to be doing right now.
You made a great point, Mike. But the thing is, AD's not doing what he's supposed to do, right?
100%.
Russell isn't doing what he should be doing. So LeBron has to have triple doubles every night in order for them to win. But the point is, he's still doing it at 36. He's still doing it.
Scotty was doing it when Jordan needed him.
Right.
Yeah.
Whoever, B.J. Armstrong, whoever was there, that was my squad.
Right.
But that's what makes you kind of nervous for LeBron, right? Because we've seen the injuries, the 2 out of the last 3. If he has to keep playing at this type of high clip, how much longer can he do it? Rightfully so. He shouldn't have to do it because AD should be the #1 option on that team. And then even Russell technically should take something off of LeBron. If we saw when he won the championship in Cleveland, he kind of started to push Kyrie out there as the #1 option. And let me just facilitate. You be the scoring point guard. I'll facilitate.
That was very smart.
Take something off me. But this is my thing. I don't know how much longer he can continue to do this. And he's going to have to do it the way the Lakers have come out in the beginning of the season if they want to make the playoffs. We already know the West is competitive. But if he doesn't continue to average close to 25 a game, do they make it into the playoffs?
They're going to make the playoffs.
He needs
They're going to make the playoffs.
Look, when Jordan was
How much
I'm
more help does he
going to keep
need?
making the comparison to Jordan because that's how I put LeBron in that realm. Jordan can kick it out in 96 or whenever those years, the latter years, he can kick it out. Who was out there? Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a lot of offense. Jordan can step back a little bit. They play some D. But that's what LeBron need now.
Right.
I mean, the greatest player can't always be.
That's why I always throw out AD, man, because, he's chasing Jordan. Jordan has 6. LeBron has what now, Auntie? 4?
4, I think.
He has 4. And before the bubble, I was like, he has no chance. Okay? Then he go in the bubble. They were able to regroup, and LeBron took advantage of that opportunity because it took leadership.
Right.
All right, we're going into a bubble. Who's going to follow the rules? Who's going to be responsible? This is how we're going to do it. That's why they won. Then AD took off.
Right.
And when AD took off, because he was the MVP of the finals, when he took off, I said, he can catch. If AD play like this, he definitely can catch MJ. Right. And it's going to be a for real conversation about who's the GOAT, right? Because right now I do have MJ, and then I have LeBron.
It's only right.
But AD, come on, AD.
Well, this is my
help
thing.
out your man.
Russell got to show up too.
Yeah, 100%.
Russell got to show up too because he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing too. You averaged a triple-double last year. Your triple-double this year doesn't have to be 30, 10, and 10. It can be 15, 10, and 15.
But we saw this science experiment in Houston with Russ.
And in
Houston,
Miami.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about Russ. Just to that point, in Houston, you had James Harden and Russ, right? Off the ball. Russ not having the ball, being ball dominant, he has no chance.
He struggles.
He has no chance. So now you got a guy who loves to bring the ball up. Now you got you're going to put him at the point. What are you doing? Yeah. It's a science experiment. He doesn't do well without the ball in his hands. Look.
But hold on. One more topic real quick.
We got to go.
I know we got to go, but just going to hit it real quick. We got to wrap it up, then we got to wrap it up.
See, look, dudes want to keep going. Look, tomorrow night. Every night, new show, new platform.
For sure.
This was great, guys. It was a great start. I Am Athlete tonight. Mike Vick, the icon,
Chantel.
Auntie.
Love.
I'm going to take you down with the trick shots.
Yeah.
First of all, none of y'all are going to take me down with no tricks. I don't care if it's a
it.
football. I don't care if it's basketball.
I like my odds.
We can go outside right now, Vic. Come on, nephew.
Let's do it. It's early.
Hey, dudes. I'm proud of you, man. I taught you this. You are a phenomenal host. You're going to be a legend.
He's hilarious.
Broadcasting Hall of Fame.
That's right.
Just make sure you mention me in your
Dude's built
speech.
for this.
Peace.
We had to fight to get a meal, wrongfully accused. We had to fight to get appeals. That's why we right to get a deal. He on the team, he gotta eat, despite the skills. Keep it riding for the fam, you gotta light the wheels straight up. But in the past bad, work up in the trash bag. I'll pass a lot to take the test before I pass class. And my family needed bread, I had to come correct. That's why I keep airing it out like I just passed gas.